Hey guys, it's Mateo from iQuit-Smoking.com. I just got over a 2-week bout of bronchitis, and let me tell you, the difference between having bronchitis as a non-smoker versus having bronchitis as a smoker is the difference between night and day. I had bronchitis twice. One time a long time ago, probably like 10-11 years ago, when I was a hardcore chain smoker, and I just had it the last 2 weeks, and the difference is night and day. It really is. These last couple weeks haven't been that great. It started out, I thought it was allergies. Why not? It's springtime in Florida. It's probably allergies, right? Well, it lasted a little bit longer than usual, so I'm like, well, and my allergy medication wasn't working. I was basically ODing on my allergy medication. So at the end of the day, I was like, well, it's probably just a cold, right? It's probably just a cold. I was still rocking it during the day. I was still, you know, like making lots of money, and I still felt amazing underneath all this bullshit, under my sinus pressure and all that. I still felt amazing. But I was like, oh, it's probably a cold. And then it moved from my eyes and my sinuses down to my chest, and I started coughing and wheezing. And I was like, well, this is probably just a cold, it'll go away. Well, it didn't go away, and it was like over 10 days, and I was like, this isn't your normal cold. This has got to be acute bronchitis or something, because the wheezing just simply won't go away. I wasn't smoking, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking pot, I wasn't doing anything. So I was like, I don't even do any drugs. Why am I still wheezing? Why am I still coughing? You know, so eventually I just went to the doctor the other day, and they put me on prednisone and gave me an inhaler, and now it's gone completely and I feel absolutely amazing. But the last 2 weeks, it was alright. I slept a lot. I didn't really go to the gym that much. But underneath all that, I still felt really good. You know, like I was blowing my nose, I was coughing, I was wheezing, but I didn't have body aches, I didn't have fever or anything. I still felt really good. For having bronchitis, I pretty much sailed right through that. However, back in the day, about 12 years ago, when I was a hardcore chain smoker, bronchitis sent me to the emergency room. When I first moved to Portland back in 2003, 2004, I was a chain smoker, and I had a cough that just wouldn't go away, and it wasn't just a smoker's cough. It was like a like your chest would literally hurt all the time, and it was just a cough that just was really intense. So intense that I began to drink cough syrup on the regular, just to suppress it, to get rid of it. And the horrible thing about that is, once my cough was suppressed, I took that opportunity and I smoked a cigarette. Because when you're coughing all the time, you can't smoke because you can't breathe. So as soon as your body gives you the opportunity to smoke, the addiction is like smoke, and that's exactly what I did. It's so horrible. I mean, having bronchitis is literally like breathing through a straw, you know, that you drink soda with. It's like, I mean, you can barely breathe at all, and the second that the cough syrup suppressed and opened up my airways just a little bit, I reached for a cigarette because I was so addicted. That's how bad it was. And so I became addicted to cough syrup. I mean, I was drinking like a bottle of it a day, because if I didn't drink it, I would just be coughing, and I'm sure my roommates hated me at that point. I mean, they never said anything, but how can you not hear me coughing for hours and hours on end? I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe, I was just coughing the whole time. And so then it got so bad that I was up the whole night. Like, I literally couldn't, if I was sleeping horizontally, the pressure from my lungs was just too much and I couldn't sleep. I had to sit up and like fall asleep in my lap, or try to do anything, like basically fall asleep like this every night for like maybe 20 minutes at a time before I jerked up and started coughing, you know, like. And that went on for a couple weeks, as I remember. And so I was like, enough of this crap. I can't it's not going to go away on its own. I have to take myself to the hospital. And so I went to the emergency room, and they immediately put me on an albuterol respirator, like, you know, and then I was fine, but that was just a horrible, horrible nightmare. It was probably in my top 2 sicknesses I've ever had in my life. The number 1 being I had the swine flu back in the day. That was terrible. That was terrible. But this was number 2. I mean, having bronchitis as a smoker was 10 times more intense severely than having bronchitis like I had these last couple of weeks as a non-smoker. It's just the difference between night and day. It really is. I mean, yeah, I was wheezing and coughing and runny nose and all that, but I still felt good. I could still fall asleep. There was a couple nights when I would wake up in the middle of the night and start coughing, and then I'd have to spit it out into a bucket or whatever. But 20 minutes later, I would be calmed down and I could fall back to sleep. But it wasn't serious enough that I had to take myself to the emergency room. You know, it wasn't like that. I wasn't taking off of work. I mean, this time I was just sailing right through work. I mean, it was pretty awesome. For being a sickness, it was pretty awesome. So the moral of the story is to quit smoking. And every time, because we all get sick, we can't avoid it. It's just part of life. And if you quit smoking and you become a healthier person, when you do get sick, it's not going to be as intense and not as horrible as it would be than if you were a smoker. That I can guarantee you. Alright, enough of me rambling on and on and on. I feel like a steak dinner. I feel really good again. I feel absolutely incredible. I'm gonna rock tomorrow at work. Today's been a great day off, and I'll see you all at my next video. Alright, take care.